All right. Thank you much. Thanks for having me, and thanks for taking a peek at this clinic, guys. Those of you that are in here right now or watching later, um, excited to be presenting tonight, talking about some of the things we've done at East Noble High School uh, over the last couple decades, and I'll start with a little bit of an introduction. Some of you guys maybe have been in or saw some of my other presentations, or maybe you've seen me speak some other places, so maybe you know a little bit about me, but I have been, I was the head coach here at East Noble for 13 years. Before that, I was a head coach at Angola High School for 4 years. I so 17 years as a head coach, 21 total coaching here around East Noble. I've been incredibly fortunate to be a part of an awesome football tradition. This was a place in the 90s that was a dumping ground and they didn't win any games ever. And we had a hard-nosed head coach show up in 1999 that turned things around and gave him an identity, and a lot of that identity was built in around the wing tee and those types of runs. Then when I got hired, I was a basketball player in college, and I got hired at the school. I wanted to be the basketball coach. They had a legendary basketball coach that didn't have any room on his staff, so I got hired in the football staff and just fell in love with it. And pretty soon, I was a defensive coordinator, and then became a offensive coordinator, then became a head coach. At 25, I was a head coach, so I'm pretty young to be a head coach, and you learn that as time goes on, you learn that, man, I wish I could go back and do a lot of that again. There's a lot of great players that I coached in those years that probably didn't get my best because I was young and inexperienced, and you know, full energy, and I coached hard, but man, it takes time and it takes experience to really figure things out. And my best advice to all you young coaches out there is, um, keep doing what you're doing. If you're on these clinics and you're learning and you're asking questions, and honestly, one of the more powerful things for me over the years was going out and visiting small colleges. Go watch spring practice. Go sit down with their coordinators. They'll give you time. They'll give you an hour out of their day to sit down, watch film with them, ask questions, talk about run schemes, talk about uh, you know preparation, talk about everything. And that was something I did a lot. Um, I would say that there's nobody out there that needs to reinvent the wheel. You might think that you know it all, but I guarantee there's somebody out there that's already done it. And so go out there and talk to people and find out what works, and find something simple that your kids can execute at a high level, and you'll have a lot more success a lot faster if you find a way to do that. So, anyways, in all my years as a head coach, I've kind of really went from a complicated offense that tried to do everything and simplified it into um, you know, a form of the spread wing tee that is has been very effective for us. I'm going to share my screen here in just a moment and get started, but philosophically, the title of this segment is variations of wing tee runs, and so we are going to be watching a lot of film of run game. But philosophically, I think that you have to start your understanding of developing your run game system around the idea that you have to be able to attack uh, all parts of the field. Okay, move on to counter. So we run a lot of different versions of counter, just like some of our other stuff. I'm gonna start by kind of drawing up traditional traditional counter. We're gonna say that GT is our traditional counter. So counter is generally a down block back by the center, pull and a kick out from the guard, and a pull and a lead up from the tackle. Some type of misdirection from the backfield, and the quarterback's gonna get up in there, run their counter. So we've got a whole bunch of different versions that we run a counter. I really love counter. Encounters most um, Encounters most recent forms. You're seeing a lot of it on Saturdays of just like counter step from the running back and then run GT. It's almost become a point where it's not even a misdirection play. It's more of a timing play. It's a play where you're gonna you're just gonna get a good push and a down block on the front side, pull and kick with a big guard and pull and wrap with the tackle and just get the timing of that running back coming up in between it. So here you can see we get blocked pretty well. Um, get a good down block there from the guard. Got a good kick out, nice physical kick out, and good wrap around from that backside. Get up in there. So that's our most common version in the state finals from this year. You know, we faced a 3-3 stack, and one of the things I really love about counter against 3-3 stacks is it has that misdirection aspect. And 3-3 stacked linebackers, when they get misdirection, they like to freeze when they see the misdirection. They're so used to moving and bolting and blitzing, doing all these different things, but when they're blitzing and they see misdirection, sometimes they get a little confused. So that the motion coming through, running back crossing and then coming back creates some hesitancy from the linebackers and gets you a chance to get your shoulder pads on them and create a nice play. Um, we certainly run counter, kind of in some of the traditional ways. We'll do our fake sweep and then turn back to the wing back, following the GT. This is it's beautiful when stuff like this hits well. Just that wheel around and give it back to the running back on the opposite side. Got a couple versions of that here. Take the sweep, hand it back to the wing back going the other way. I think out of this formation, this is probably the most deadly version of counter. Obviously takes a little timing and a little practice to get that one going, but faking that sweep, coming back the other way with it is deadly. Obviously, like everybody else, we're gonna run counter as a quarterback counter. So we're gonna run GT right up in there. Take to the running back. Use the running back as either potentially another blocker. You can do whatever you want with him. You can read it on the backside, and then get the whoever's the quarterback up in it. Okay, we'll run it with wing motion. Here's a version I really like. We're gonna wing motion across, and we're gonna arc the tight end. So that puts this person in a real spot when they're going to widen with the arc. That's going to create a lot of space. Run game's about creating space. So watch the arc here. Arc, widen. When he sits, now we get a good kick out. And our running back hits this a little wider than he needs to. He should be right up in there, but he redirects and gets up in there for a nice play. That's a really well executed play by the offensive line. Look at the left tackle. He's going to do what I call a cruise block. So he's going to check the double team here, but the double team is going to slant away from him. So he's going to have his right arm on that double team. As the double team goes, he can just cruise right up to the next level and gets a nice block on that kid. Okay, we'll use jet motion with our counter to come back under. It's, again, really well blocked by the offensive line. We're gonna get slant to the tight ends. We're gonna get a down block from the tackle. Guard's gonna pull and kick. wrap, hit it. Jet. We're gonna arc block this right here. Leave this guy right here to be kicked. It's gonna look almost like a trap, but then our H is coming through. So GH counter. So this is a little different version that we use sometimes. So a lot of times we're GT, but we do have some, depending on the week and who we're playing, we may determine that we're going to use our H as our wrapper. So we're going to send across with our guard, get up in it with our H, and then counter that way. We're on counter with a lot of RPOs. So here you're going to see counter left, pull, wrap. But at the same time, we're going to have a perimeter blocking tag out here that we're going to read. So if the stacked backer plays the counter, we're going to go ahead and give it to the slot back. And you got a big play on the backside of counter. We watch that from the end zone. You're going to block the force. We're going to arc and kick. We call this truck. So then we're going to pull and kick, pull and wrap. We've got our counter right there. We've got our receiver coming around the end. Slow motion here. I would have liked to maybe have given the counter. So we got kick and we got a wrap blocked really well. Big gap in there if you're looking at the run. Oops. But obviously it turns out to be a big play instead, going to the outside. Love those little perimeter blocking tags that you can add to some of the stuff. Here we've got a read on with our counter. We're running counter to the right. We're going to pull and kick, pull and wrap, but we're going to arc the tight end. We're going to read this backside guy, just trying to create space. This guy chases the puller. We're gonna let the running back have it. He's got space. Nice game.